Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Gabris, and I'm a Public Affairs Specialist for the National Transportation Safety Board. Today, Member Graham will provide an update on yesterday's train derailment. He'll provide a brief statement and then take some questions. With that, I will turn it over to Member Michael Graham.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Michael Graham. I'm a board member with the National Transportation Safety Board. Joining me today is our investigator in charge, Ruben Payan. The NTSB arrived on scene this afternoon to investigate the February 3rd Norfolk Southern freight train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The NTSB is the lead federal investigative agency for this derailment. We are working closely with many local, state, and federal officials who are responding to this accident. We are on scene to gather perishable evidence. Our team methodically and systematically reviews all evidence and considers all potential factors to determine the probable cause and make any necessary safety recommendations. This is the beginning of a long process. We will not jump to any conclusions, and the information that I provide today is preliminary. A preliminary report of this accident is expected in 4 to 6 weeks. However, a full NTSB investigation lasts 18 to 24 months before a final report is released. Yesterday at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an eastbound train which originated in Madison, Illinois, and en route to Conway, Pennsylvania, derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. The train consisted of a total of 141 load cars, 9 empties, and 3 locomotives. About 50 cars were involved in the derailment, 20 of which contain hazardous materials. At this time, we are unaware of any injuries to the train crew, first responders, or members of the community. The post-derailment fire spanned about the length of the derailed train cars. The fire has since reduced in intensity, but remains active, and the 2 main tracks are still blocked. 4 tank cars carrying vinyl chloride were involved in the derailment and have been exposed to fire. At least 1 vinyl chloride car is intermittently releasing the contents of the car through a pressure relief device as designed. At this time, we are working to verify which hazardous material cars, if any, have been breached. The EPA and Norfolk Southern are continuing to monitor the air quality. Response efforts are still ongoing, and once the scene is safe and secure, the NTSB investigators will begin their on-scene work. We are coordinating with state police who have obtained aerial footage of the scene. Additionally, the locomotives were equipped with forward-facing image recorders and event data recorders. Event data recorders could provide investigators with information such as train speed, throttle position, and brake applications. As I said, our investigator in charge is Ruben Payan, and he has over 30 years of industry experience, and 25 of which has been with the NTSB. The NTSB's on-scene team consists of hazardous materials investigators and specialists who are working with hazmat specialists from the FRA, that's the Federal Rail Administration, and Norfolk Southern. Several other NTSB investigators will also be examining the following areas: mechanical, operations, and track. At this time, the expected parties to the investigation include the Federal Rail Administration, Norfolk Southern, Smart Union, and local first responders. We will provide updates as they become available, You can follow the NTSB on Twitter at NTSB_newsroom. One final comment. I would like to thank all the first responders to this accident. First responders from multiple states, cities, and municipalities have all been working together to contain this accident and to ensure the scene is safe for everyone. We appreciate all they are doing. I will take a few questions now. I'd like to ask you, when I do call on you, to raise your hand. I'll call on you, state your name and your affiliation. Right ahead.
Jennifer Barrasso, KDK Television. I'm sure you're going to ask about the train inspections. When the last time this track was inspected?
Okay. The question is, I'm sure we're going to ask questions about the train inspection, including the track inspections. Absolutely. We're already working on that right now. Those are things that we can do behind the scene right now, is request that information from Norfolk Southern, so on the trains, the train cars, and the tracks.
And a follow-up. Have police or anyone talked to the conductor or the engineer to what they witnessed or saw?
So the question is, has police or anybody talked to the conductor or the engineer as what they saw? The answer is basically we are working on that. We will, part of our investigative process will be to interview all witnesses, and that obviously includes the crew. Other things that we'll be looking at is forward image recording from the train itself to see what they were looking at outside. So that's things we will look at during the investigation. Let's go for another question right there.
I'm Anna Marsick with WKBN. Would you be able to clarify if the vinyl chloride is on fire?
Okay, the question is if we can clarify if the vinyl chloride is on fire. At this point, we can't tell you for sure because obviously the first responders cannot get to the scene right away. As I said, we are aware one of the cars is releasing some of its pressure, and that is normal. That's how that car is designed, to keep it from exploding or anything like that. So we are monitoring the scene ourselves from a distance through the first responders and the Norfolk Southern people.
Can you say if inside the train cars there were...
You are with?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm from KDKA out of Pittsburgh. Can you say if inside some of the train cars were there... We were told last night there could have been some automobiles inside some of them as well that were all burnt up. Some of them did obviously have those chemicals in them as well. What was inside this? What was this carrying?
Okay, your question is asking what is the consist of the car, of each of the rail cars?
In that, yeah, I know you mentioned the number of load cars and the number of empties and locomotives, but what necessarily was
exactly. We have some preliminary information on what the consist of each rail car, what they would be carrying. At this point, we haven't had a chance to verify that list with what's actually out there on the tracks. So we won't release any of that information until we can verify and confirm that.
Any sense also how long this is going to continue being on fire and possibly exposing these chemicals to the air?
The question is, do you have any idea how long this is going to continue as a first responder response, and then the follow-on, and how long it'll take to clear tracks and all that? At this point, I can't tell you the exact time because it is an active fire scene. So we're relying on the expertise of the hazardous material experts to let us know when they can get in there and eliminate the fire, and then they can safely secure the scene to where we can get in there and start investigating and moving rail cars and eventually get them off the tracks and repair tracks. So I just don't know at this time how long.
But are you even able to really get to your investigation at this time because of that, or not as much as you'd like to?
Question is, are we able to get to our investigation at this time while we wait? Yes, we are able to start investigating. We're trying to get information right now on the consist of the cars. We're trying to verify that. We won't be able to do that completely till we get on the scene. Other things we're going to do is, I'm sure by tomorrow, we're hopefully going to be downloading data from the locomotives. That'll be things that we're going to look at. We're also trying to verify, looking at the hazardous material contents as to what we'll be dealing with. We're also reviewing imagery from flyovers from the state police aircraft, and I believe there was some drone footage out there too that we're looking at. So yes, we're starting. We're also having a progress meeting, team meeting tonight with all the party members. Okay. Yes, right here.
Stephen Banfield, WPXI, NBC Pittsburgh. Talk about vinyl chloride, and have you ever dealt with this chemical before, and how big of a deal is this? What type of danger are we looking at?
I am not a hazardous material expert, but I don't know. You want to speak to that a little bit, or?
Not really. I mean,
if you,
it is one of the chemicals that's there, but there's also other hazardous materials in there. So right now they're all posing danger to us. So we're treating them all equally as hazmat right now.
No, as a follow-up, don't they carry a manifest that would tell you what on those? I mean, we all see the placards that go by on the train. Now, is there a manifest available? And is there something that concerns you guys that maybe the public should know about?
okay, the question is basically, do the trains carry a manifest, or a load consist of what all the cars have in them? And the question is, yes, we have a copy of that. We are looking at all the different chemicals. Part of that, there's always a concern when you have hazardous materials. There's a concern with the rest of the rail cars out there too, and what it might be involved out there that's not considered hazardous material. We're looking at that closely. That's why the EPA and Norfolk Southern are out there doing air quality testing as we speak, and will continue to be there until everything's cleaned up. So right here.
Bryce with KDK out of Pittsburgh. Can you just explain what vinyl chloride is in kind of layman terms so that people can understand it?
The question is, can I explain what vinyl chloride is? Do you have a bit?
I
don't have, I will tell you, I don't have our hazardous material expert with us at this time. I would defer that to him because I'm not an expert in that area. But yeah. Two more questions.
What is the speed limit on this track?
The question is, what is the speed limit on the track? I think preliminary-wise, we determined it's 45 miles per hour on the track. But we do not have and have not verified the speed of the actual train that was going through on the track.
Will there be a black box or something?
The event recorder will be able to tell us that exact information. Yeah. Follow-on question?
Was there any, like, hey, there's something wrong, or was it just any inkling from the driver or the conductor or the engineer? Hey, we're having issues here.
The question is, was there any inkling from the conductor or the engineer that there was an issue at this point? As I told you earlier, we have not interviewed the engineer and conductor. That will be done in the very near future here, and we'll be able to get a better idea what's going on there. We're also looking at a lot of different footage that has been provided to the investigators out there to determine if there's some data on footage that we have from videos and cameras that might tell us something more, that what might have happened to cause this accident. One more question.
Do you know where the train
Right
is
here.
going and coming from?
The question is, do we know where the train was going and coming from? Yes, it was, I believe I stated that at the beginning.
Sorry,
but
I missed
that's
it.
all right.
I don't want to waste the question.
Yeah, no, it was coming from Illinois and going to Conway, Pennsylvania.
I was here.
That's all right. One more. I'll give one more. If anybody has another one, right there, last one.
What would you have to say to the people who are evacuated now, who might be worried about their homes or anything like that, about how it's under control?
Okay, the question is, what would I tell people that have been evacuated from their homes or maybe are in place right now? I would say tune in to your local first responders and do as they say. They are looking out for the best interest. They are monitoring the air quality and the scene itself. And I would have them check in with them periodically and do exactly what they say for their safety. With that, I want to thank you very much.